Hi, I'm Rob.
And I'm Angie.
And together, we are TwinFinity.
We're twin flames in union, sharing our journey through a series of videos. This is now video number 22, and it's called The Void of Emptiness and Disconnection.
Okay, first of all, where we are. I'm in Angie's sacred space. We are in her meditation room today, and on one side is a futon that we're sitting on, and on the other side is her treatment room portion of the meditation room, which is where she does Reiki when she has clients over or does channelings, or usually it's both at the same time.
Yeah.
So, heading on to the recap. The recap from last time, Angie asks if she can stay with me, and I say no, and she sleeps in her storage room until she gets caught. Angie ends up going to stay with Sonia, my ex-employee. Because Sonia and I were still in touch, I end up in communication with and seeing Angie again. By the way, we have a dog.
Just to clarify, I meditate in here morning and night, and Cookie meditates with me, so she's used to being on my lap when I'm in this room. So she figures it's time for her to be on my lap. So it is what it is.
Cookie spends way more time in here than I do.
Yes. Okay, sorry, we interrupted you.
And also, after making a pro and cons list of suicide, Angie ends up accepting a couple of jobs, cleaning houses and working at 7-Eleven. None of which were her primary career choice, but sometimes you do what you have to do.
Yes, when you're broke and homeless, you take whatever you gotta take. So now, before we get into our story, we just want to say hi. It's been a long time since we've done a video.
Yeah, it's been almost 3 weeks. We went on a little vacation. It was nice to get away from the snow and cold and go enjoy some sunshine and sand, only to come back home to snow and cold.
Yes.
But you can't ever time that. That's up to Mother Nature to decide when winter leaves.
Which is why we're back inside instead of outside doing a video, because out the window right now it's snowing.
Yeah, it's about maybe plus 15 Fahrenheit and light snow, and winter is going to be here a while longer because in a couple of days we're supposed to get another little bit of snow.
Fun.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Do you have more?
Well, I did, and I was forgetting what it was, but I remember now. I was just going to say we wanted to do a video sooner than this time frame, but the unfortunate thing is when we go away from holidays, we don't have the kind of jobs where somebody else can do our job for us while we're gone. So it just means we have a lot of work to do when we come home. So we've both been working like dogs to get caught up from being away for a week. So that's why it's taken us so long to get back into the swing of things.
At least after working long days at work, at this time of year, it's also sunny out until 8 o'clock, so at least I was leaving work in sunshine as opposed to driving to work in the dark and driving home in the dark, which is what happens in the middle of winter.
Yes. Yay. Okay, so we'll get started. So yes, as Rob was saying in the recap, where I left off is I had just accepted 2 jobs working at both 7-Eleven and cleaning houses, and I was hating life. So this starts off now at December 12th of 1998 in my journal. And also, I just wanted to say, thank God this is the only journal I ever bought that's like this. It flips this way instead of sideways. So if I screw up trying to keep track of where I'm at, I'm sorry. I've made really good notes of like turn the page, flip the journal to try and make sure I get everything straight. But if I don't and I get lost, just be patient, okay?
I've got a couple of rather complicated chores done while she's been figuring out with tabs and paper clips and writing and notes and everything to try to figure out how to make the pages flip so that the story stays together.
It's been tricky.
Yeah, I've left her alone during this.
Yeah, I needed to concentrate. Okay, so we're starting with me feeling miserable in December of 1998. So I was writing in my journal saying, I just don't fit in. I feel like I live in a foreign country, or more like a foreign planet. I don't even feel like I belong here on Earth, in this world. I feel like a total outsider. And there's a little bit more to go with that before I make a comment. I said, I feel like I just don't belong. I feel so different. Like I'm in a foreign country, miserable, alone, lost, and unhappy. I can't believe it's possible to be this unhappy for this long. So I was not in a good place, clearly. And I mean, I was feeling miserable because I wasn't doing what I had, intended to do job-wise, but also because, like I was writing, I felt like I didn't belong on Earth, which I know a lot of people are commenting on right now with, if any of you in the last couple of weeks have done any more research on what we talked about in one of our previous videos about the event that people have been talking about. A lot of people are feeling like they don't belong because we're not meant to belong. We're here to help advance things and change things and help people through the ascension. We're not here to be part of old Earth. So it wasn't surprising back then that I felt like I didn't belong, but I didn't understand it back then, of course. So yeah, it was a rough time. Okay, so far, so good with our tabs. We're all in order. So now this is December 16th of 98, and I said so much for sucking it up and burying myself. It ain't working. I go clean and I feel like crap. Then I wonder, is this really all there is? Did I search and search and search for purpose and meaning and give up everything just so I could work at crappy jobs and feel like I have no purpose, no meaning? I almost quit today because I hate it. Cleaning, yeah, that's really my destiny. I eat and bury my feelings, my longings and desires, but not even that helps. The fact is, I'm just miserable. I want God, more meaning, more purpose, more hopeful, positive spirituality in my life. Not cleaning rich people's houses and working at 7-Eleven. Now I feel sick after eating so much. Sick, but not stifled. Still empty, full physically, but empty spiritually and emotionally. God, how much longer do we have to seek, knock, and ask? Hello, where are you? I'm at a point in my life where not even millions of dollars would satisfy me without God in my life. I don't get it. I want God and meaning. Meaning in my life, yet God seems to continually slam the door in my face. The harder I knock, the more he slams. I don't know how to turn this desire, this aching need off. I don't know how to let it go. I really thought I could get a job, any old job, and just bury myself. But as I've said, once awakened, we can't go back to sleep. Isn't that interesting? I know people have said that so many times. God, I wish I could go back to sleep. Yeah, you can't.
Don't think it works that way.
No. So I was saying every coping mechanism I've ever used before, I've tried to use now, and it doesn't work. Busyness, eating, reading, sleeping, workaholism. It was really, really cruel for God to give me a taste of being fulfilled when I was working with Rob or working with my friend Beth. Really cruel, and now I've got nothing. What's the point of living with no meaning? Doing stupid jobs that are meaningless and pointless and collecting a paycheck, paying bills, and doing it all again. Is this really all there is? There's got to be more. There's got to be. I don't want to be here. What is the point? I don't want to live in a sleepwalking life of work, eat, sleep, pay bills. It's been so long since I felt alive, really alive. Alive enough. Did I do that right? Yeah. Alive enough to drive in the mountains and sing. Alive enough to dance in the streets. Or alive enough to talk deep and meaningful with someone. Alive enough to share the wonders of nature with someone. Everyone else is asleep. Where's the passion for life, the joy of waking up in the morning and sharing a sunrise with someone else who appreciates the beauty? Where's the feeling of aliveness, the feeling I get when I go to the mountains, that feeling I got when I first met Rob? That magic that we had. That energy, that magical, powerful energy, the love, it's just not of this world. Where is all that? That spark of life, that aliveness, that desire, and the yearning to get up each day with a purpose, a hope, a reason to live and give. Where is it? I ask, and as always, the answer goes back to Robert. Interesting, but I feel more dissatisfied when with him. I'm sorry, that was just back then. It's not true now. His spark seems dead and unlit. He's not happy, and trying to share beauty or God or good music with him just makes him more blah. I'm sick of blah people who complain, etc., but I'm becoming one of them myself now. Where's the joy? Where's the passion in life? God, how can one person be so unfulfilled already at this young age of 24. I want to express myself. I want to express myself and really be with others through writing or talking. I want to share my true self, my spiritual self, with others. I want to offer people something that will enlighten and brighten and liven and awaken them. So, if you can imagine just feeling so dead inside, so passionless, it's because I remembered at some level what I was here to do. I didn't consciously know what exactly I was here to do, but my soul knew. And I was just feeling that yearning of, like, give me the purpose that I came here to do. But the fact is, it just wasn't time. Our world wasn't ready for me and other light workers. We all have to wait for the time to be right, and it wasn't it then. But boy, I was feeling empty, and nothing, like I was saying, nothing was fulfilling it, because nothing could. If your purpose is to do a specific thing, doesn't matter what else you try, it doesn't matter how much money you have. Like I was saying, it didn't matter how much money I had. It wouldn't make a difference. So it took me a lot of years to understand what my purpose was, and that I had to wait for the timing to be right for it. Very frustrating, though. Okay, now I gotta understand my note. Flip to next tab. Okay, that's an easy one. I said I spent 5 years at U of A I spent 5 years at U of A to go to work at BS 7-Eleven for $7 with stupid duties of cleaning and making hot dogs and stocking shelves and smiling for customers. My morale and attitude is so totally low that I'd be miserable around customers. Even cleaning houses, I'm not doing a good job because I don't care. I'm bitter and I'm angry and I hate the world. I don't want to be cheery, especially with 1 million customers at some stupid 7-Eleven. Unhappy.
It's interesting how different we are. I've chosen a career of customer service, and even though I'm busy and at my desk, just shake it off and put on a smile and go up and actually have fun with people at counters all the time. It's not necessarily what Angie would want to do full time.
No, being introverted, no.
Even when I'm having a bad day, I have a good time with people at the counter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But a little bit further in here, you give me some wisdom as to why 7-Eleven's not a bad job.
Yeah.
So we're going to get to that. You gave me some really beautiful words. But first, some more not so happy stuff. So then I'm saying Beth and I talk and discovered we are both experiencing the exact same feelings. She said she spent most of yesterday crying too. That she's been feeling extremely empty as well. Like we have all this potential and know that there is something important we need to do, but we're not being guided or directed. So it's interesting, way back then, we still knew there was something. We knew there was a big purpose that we were supposed to do. But we were like, where is it? Why is it not coming together? So I said both of us are trying desperately to fill the void, or at least numb the feelings of emptiness. But again, for both of us, nothing works. Not food, work, money, materialism, nothing fills or numbs it. It's constant emptiness and the yearning that can't be fulfilled or satisfied. We both have this huge burning desire to help the world and make a difference, touching people at a soul and spiritual level. Okay, I'm trying to read my notes again. See, I'm already lost now. Okay, I think I got it. There we go. All right, so this is now December 27th, and I said, well, now I feel a little more fulfilled than empty. I just got out of the bed at 9:30 and the phone rang. Guess who? Rob. Big surprise.
Yeah, I would normally try to phone sometime around Christmas. I like to make lots of phone calls around Christmas. But, yeah, I'd probably save a phone call to Angie with a little bit of extra time, because I knew if I actually did get her on the phone, it would take some time. We'd be catching up again.
Yes. So just to clarify also, I was still living with Sonia and her husband. By the way, thank you, Sonia. That was so kind of you. They took me in. Because I had a job, I was now paying them room and board. I certainly wasn't living there for free, but it was just kind of them still to house me, which was amazing. So, of course, Rob and I were still connecting because he was still connecting with Sonia as well. So he'd sometimes call and be wanting to chat with her, and then he'd talk to me, or sometimes he called and was specifically for me. Okay, so I said we had a great talk about us, spirituality, getting it, intimacy, and me needing more than the occasional night with him. That's been part of why I'm feeling the emptiness, is not connecting on a deep level with people. Tanya and I aren't really connecting because we are both upset about our situation. Beth and I aren't connecting because of all that we've been through and lost. I miss really being with friends. It was really nice to have that discussion with Rob. I was telling him about feeling empty because of working at 7-Eleven and cleaning houses and not doing what I came to this earth to do. He got it. He really got it. Like he's never gotten it before. Yay, you always get it. He's amazing that way.
Sometimes I understand.
Yes. So I said, he explained that the world isn't ready for me and my knowing and what I have to give. I need to take baby steps. He actually used the word baby.
Yeah. Back at that time in my life, I was not into kids whatsoever, so there was even some words that were somewhat, I wouldn't want to use the word banned from my vocabulary, but yeah, no, to use that term back then, it's actually kind of amusing.
Yeah, funny. That's why I even said, he actually used the word. They're like, wow. So he said 7-Eleven is not a bad job. It's actually an opportunity to touch many lives with a simple smile that gives so much back. He's right. If I look at the job this way or in a positive way, it is a great opportunity to give and touch many lives. A smile can do so much for people. One smile from one person can change a person's day completely. Rob is right. I was very amazed. So it's neat that, it's such a good reminder that we all think we have this big purpose, but you know what? Our purpose can be as simple as just smiling at people or giving a kind word, a kind gesture to somebody. That can make all the difference in the world. It doesn't have to be some grand thing that we're here to save the world. It can just be a day-to-day, just in our jobs, in our lives, in the grocery store, wherever.
Sometimes when you can't figure out how to save the world, sometimes just a positive attitude or a smile, if that's all you have, might as well use it.
Yeah. And that was such a brilliant comment you made. It totally turned things around for me because I was hating my job. I was hating life. I was bitter. And Rob's comment really helped. So I said after our talk, I really was missing Rob and would love to see him again. He even brought me a present when he was on holidays. Funny, you had gone on a cruise.
Yeah, just back in the little bit before Christmas, I'd gone with a friend. It was I believe it was his 40th birthday.
Actually, that was Karmic partner that you were with. Karmic one.
Oh, was it?
Yes.
Oh, that's right, too.
Because you bought me the present, which we're going to talk about a little later, and you were with her.
Yes.
And buying me a present.
That's true. I was with Karmic 1.
Yeah.
Buying a present for Angie at the same time. Whew, okay. I don't know how I pulled that one off.
Yes.
I would like to also note that as much as at this time in our life we were still in contact, we were becoming less and less in contact. Not quite as frequent, not quite as often, and also when we were in contact, not for as long normally.
Yeah.
Sure, there was other moments where we were, but there was still a steady degradation, an emptiness that was coming between us, hence why the title of this video.
Yes. Yes.
I was steadfastly moving away.
You were trying to.
I was trying to. I was trying to put Angie in a place of what I'd call simple friendship, failing every so often, but still, I was becoming more successful at it. I still felt like I needed to do that.
Okay, well, let's talk about that. let's go off on a little tangent because people love to know your side of the story because most people, not everybody, but most people that watch are the feminine. So
Yeah.
they want to understand the masculine. Well, what's he thinking? What's he feeling? So why were you trying to push me away? And this is going to come up a bit in our story, but let's ask it now. And why were we still connecting? If you were like, you went on a holiday with some other woman and then I'm still in your life and you're back and forth still, why couldn't you just shut the door on me and be done?
Well, first of all, I'm trying to push you away because I have no hope or desire anymore to have a deeper relationship with you. It's time for you to move on, but I'm also not about burning bridges, so I always try to leave some line of communication with people who I've appreciated in my life. For you and I, it was much more difficult because there was still what I would call back then, or what I perceived back then, was I still loved you, and it wasn't something that I could just switch off and walk away. It was still on the back of my mind more than what I was appreciating, but I didn't resent that. It was just annoying, and every so often I had to just be in touch with you simply because my curiosity about how you were doing and everything else would get to me. But the only reason I had curiosity is because I couldn't shake the love for you. So it was kind of feeding on itself. I was able to try to squish it down a little bit more and more, but obviously I had no hope of making you completely go away. There would have to be some other factors that would come along that would do a better job. And obviously Karmic One wasn't enough either.
Apparently not.
As nice a person as what she was.
Yeah. Okay. All right, so let's go back. I was saying he even bought me a present when he was on holidays. It's something cute and sappy, he said. I have no idea what it could be. Bought me something cute and sappy. And I don't have it to show because I threw it away. And I still feel so sad about that.
She tried to get rid of me too.
I did. I tried.
I wasn't the only one trying to
No.
clear bits out of my life.
Oh, I feel so sad. Okay, so now we're moving along in our story. This is now in January of 1999. We've gone another year.
Almost. Happy New Year. Less than a year away. Happy New Millennium.
Yeah. So this was almost a year to the day that you fired me now in our story. Because it was mid-January. I can't remember that. I think it was January 18th of 98 that you fired me. So it's been like a year that we've broken up, but we're still seeing each other every couple of weeks or a month.
Hi, you're fired, but don't go away.
Yeah.
It was so difficult.
It was.
And yes, it was very confusing.
Yeah. All right, so I was saying, Tanya and I went to see the movie Patch Adams today. Very good movie. It made me realize that I'm not supposed to fit in this world. I'm not here to fit in and follow the same rules and patterns, etc. of society. I'm here to change things and help our world evolve. So it's neat how that movie really helped put some things in place for me and give me some peace of mind that, this emptiness that I'm feeling, I guess it's okay because I'm not here to fit into the world. Here I was after losing everything, being evicted. I'm trying to go back to living the way I was before, but I couldn't. It just wasn't there anymore. I had to start life over and accept that I wasn't meant to fit in the world anymore. I was meant to help evolve the world into a new place, which is, again, all of us as twin flames and light workers, that's our purpose. I gotta read my notes. Flip and turn journal. Okay. So, then I was saying, after the movie, I asked Tanya if she'd be interested in meeting Rob. Now, Rob and I had chatted the day before that I was showing him my journal, and I was mentioning that we were going to be going to a movie and asked if he was interested, and he said no, but he said if you guys want to come over afterwards, I'd love to meet Tanya. So, I asked her after the movie if she was interested, and of course, she's a very social person, so she was thrilled. So I said we went to Rob's, and Rob and Tanya clicked great. Tanya was figuring out what kind of person Rob is. Control freak, anal, needs to be organized and categorize everything in his head was her way of concluding how Rob's personality. I said both Rob and Tanya were very much themselves with each other. Tanya just talked and talked and talked. She opened up to Rob completely. I was very surprised. I basically sat back and let them talk. Do you remember that? No?
Not really.
Okay. It was hilarious watching you two together.
I remember that we met. I don't remember what had happened.
Mm-hmm. You're both very social, very similar personalities, actually. So it was hilarious watching them. I just was like, okay, you guys have at it. I'll just sit back and be quiet. So I said they somehow got to talking about the topic of spirituality. Tanya was telling Rob all the same stuff I had about feeling alien and distant from God, etc. It was really neat, but she went deeper with Rob than I had. Talking of angels hugging her and being awakened, etc. She used some terminology that I know Rob wouldn't get. I was very nervous throughout the conversation because I was so afraid Tanya was giving Rob way too much information and it would scare him off again. I, back then, had always been very, delicate about what I told Rob about spirituality. I didn't share much because he just couldn't really handle it. So when Tanya was telling him everything, I'm like, oh my God! I was sitting there cringing, going, shut up! Don't tell him stuff! So I was kind of freaked out by all this.
No, I don't recall being freaked out by it all.
Thank God.
But I had already had Angie once in a while still mentioning things anyway, as much as she was trying to protect me. So I don't think I was terribly surprised.
Okay, that's good. So I said she was relating to him in the sense of understanding that all of he's been through with me. That it must have been very hard on him, especially since he's the type of person who needs to understand and categorize and file everything. I was impressed with her level of compassion for Rob's situation with all of this. So Tanya goes to leave, she puts on her boots, and at first I was just about to go get mine, when Rob...
What did I do?
Grabbed me and pulled me to him and wrapped his arms around me. Of course you did!
Yes, you weren't getting away that easy.
So Tanya at this point is all disgusted with us because she could feel the attraction between Rob and I. She then started telling Rob that he and I are, get this, are you ready for this? Twin souls. I have this written in my journal from January of 1999. I have to tell you, we totally forgot about that term because it didn't mean anything to us back then.
I didn't even have an ounce of clue. No idea.
No. We still just believed we were soulmates, so to hear the words twin souls didn't really resonate. We had nothing, no book, no internet to read from to find out what it meant, so it just didn't really do anything.
I probably just wrote it off as being a different way of saying soulmates.
Yes, I think that's what we both did.
Yeah.
But it's amazing when we get to our future stories where, I finally discovered that we're twin flames, and then I'm reading back in my journals. Oh my God, it was amazing when I read that. I was just like, it's actually in my journal. So it's real. We really are. Mm-hmm. Now, just for clarity, some people think and believe there's a difference between twin souls, twin flames. I personally don't. I've not done a lot of research, though. Other people may have. To me, I use them interchangeable. So if you don't, that's totally fine. There's not saying that you're wrong, I'm right, or anything like that. Just saying, for my purposes, it means the same thing. So anyway, just incredible that the word twin souls is in my journal. So I'm going to read this sentence again. She starts telling Rob and I that we are twin souls, that we share a very deep connection and love. She says to Rob, how else do you explain why you can't get Angie out of your life no matter how hard you try? Very true, Tanya. By this time, I wanted her to just leave because I was feeling so uncomfortable. I had figured she told Rob way too much information and more that he could handle. So I'm busy just stressed about all that she's telling him to even really think about what this word twin souls means. Okay, so I said, Tammy left, then Rob sat me on the couch to give me my Christmas present. I figured we talked about everything that just happened and all that was said, but nope. So I was surprised. I thought Rob would want to like decompress and go, what the hell was all that? And what's all this spiritual stuff that you're talking about? He didn't ask any of it. So I said, he's trying to get me to guess what he got me. Finally, he just pulled it out. It was a stuffed animal teddy bear of an Ewok from Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back. Oh,
Yeah.
It was a cute little Ewok. I was surprised that he'd give me something like that he'd remember that I like Ewoks. It was neat, too, that he'd gotten it for me on his trip in Disney World. So I was amazed that he was traveling with someone else and still thought of me. So, sadly, I don't have it to show you, though.
It's long gone. Bye-bye.
Oh, it still breaks my heart. We've been searching, actually, since we've been back in Union for over 3 years. We keep searching for one, and he walks on around.
Not in that shape and size and that style. It
was about, how big was it? Like about that big?
I don't quite remember if it being that big, but
it
wasn't tiny.
It wasn't tiny, no. And it was just so cute. Yeah. All right, so then I said we talked about the love we still have and how it's hard to connect once every 2 weeks or so, then miss each other, and yet it's hard not to see each other at all. Does that sound familiar about the twin flame path? Yep. It's like it hurts to be together, it hurts to be apart. Our typical talk of what are we doing, what do we do with this love that won't go away, etc. At about 10:30, we went to sleep. I was excited to be going to the mountains Sunday morning with him. So the next day, we were going to the mountains, so of course we decided on spending the night together.
Again.
Yeah. Yes, us and our crazy
ways.
Yes. All right. So we drove and he talked and held my hand. It was nice. Throughout the day I had great fun, but still felt so far away from him. We're just so different in so many ways, not at all able to relate to each other or really get it. I miss our get it times, especially yesterday. Makes me not miss him because it's hard to miss someone you just don't really connect with. I very much miss the old Rob and Angie who did get it, but even that was very short-lived. Like maybe a month ago, or month of when we first met. So I was saying that even when we first met, we only had that deep connection for about a month or so, and then it started to fade off. So I was just missing the old connection that we had. It just wasn't there anymore. I said he has this need to constantly learn about everything and teach it to everyone else. This need to always be in his head and thinking. Now, can we share that fun little story about driving to the mountains and one of your questions to me? Do you know which one I'm referring to?
I don't know which question because I've had a few really whacked out questions.
He used to drive me nuts. When we go to the mountains, even back then and still now, it's like a deeply spiritual experience for me. I love the mountains. I bond with them. I'm so in my soul. But back then, in the olden, we call it the olden days, when we were together, or like this, together, not together, and in that weird in-between phase, Rob would quiz me on things, quiz me on the names of the mountains. One of the quizzes was, name the planets in order.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Sure. Naming the planets in order.
Drove me nuts.
What's wrong
I'm
with
like,
that?
I can't name the planets anyway, let alone in order. Maybe a lot of you can. Hooray for you if you can. I don't know.
See, I figured it'd be an easy question for someone whose head's in the stars all the time.
Good point.
This is a little closer to home. How hard could it be? Oh, gee.
You know, it's really funny doing these videos because we learn things. I never ever clued into that before. It's hilarious.
You're not happy with stuff on Earth? Let's talk about stuff that isn't on Earth.
I love it.
Then I got in trouble.
Still got in trouble. I'm like, shut up. I'm in my soul. I just want to enjoy the mountains in peace. Don't quiz me on things. Even if it is planets. Yeah, that was us. So I said we're just from very two different worlds.
See? Worlds.
Worlds, yes.
I'm going to get myself in trouble now
Yes,
if I don't let this one go.
Especially because now I've lost my place.
Right there.
Thank you. I said he has this constant need to learn and be in his head, whereas I live in my soul most of the time.
Now, I'd still like to clarify that I go to the mountains to get in my soul place, too.
Yes, you do.
And I can even do that in the city nowadays. I'm much more diverse that way. I don't have to go distract myself away from my regular 3D stuff.
Yeah.
But
you're much more balanced now. Before you lived in your head way too much.
Yeah. I literally had to escape from the city and work to actually escape into my soul space.
Yes. And even then, it was challenging.
No. I still got there in my own way. Just wasn't that far of a trip.
Yeah, okay. So I said, neither's right or wrong. They're just different, and we're very different and don't connect. I go to the edge of his world at times, and he comes to the edge of my world at times. But that doesn't make for much connection, depth, or intimacy. It makes for loneliness. So again, that's the difference with twin flames. That's the whole reason we need to have separation, is because we're usually, one's here and one's here. Sorry, I'm like covering your face in the video now. I just realized that. It looks like I'm smacking you. I'm not.
No.
So the whole point is you need to find balance. You need to find that middle place. So I'm sharing way back then, we were so in different places. Like I mean, I even wrote that we're in different worlds. It felt like different worlds. We could each come to the edge of each other's world, but that's why, as much as the love was there, the connection wasn't there anymore, because we were imbalance, or not in balance within ourselves. And that's the whole point of this journey, is that you must find balance and wholeness within. Well, we clearly didn't have that then, so we couldn't have it with each other. We'd have the love pulling us back together, but the imbalances pushing us back apart. Hard place to be in when you don't understand what's going on, which we completely did not back then.
It was, the way that I've looked at this is that we were on a collision course, and when we met was at the same time that we were at a similar place within our heads and within our learnings. But that didn't change the course. After a while, we crossed paths and started to grow apart again. We were both still going in the same direction as when we met, but that same direction was now taking us further apart.
That's a good way to put it. I like that, like the crisscross.
Yeah.
Very good. So I said there are many times, especially in the mountains, when I can be sitting right next to Rob in the same vehicle, holding his hand, yet feel a million miles away from him. We're just in two different worlds. I've crossed over to his world by getting a real job, but it still doesn't change things because my heart and soul are not there. So it's still nice to see him every 2 weeks or so, but it doesn't change in the long run. We both talked of this and agreed yesterday that we are soulmates in the sense of having a strong connection, but we just don't see ourselves together as intimate partners anytime soon, if ever. So we were realizing that, yeah, we have this weird, unique love that we don't really understand, but we don't see a relationship out of it.
To use a term that I used back then, I think quite often, you can love someone, but that doesn't mean that you can live with them. That was as simple as I framed it in my mind.
Mm-hmm. Very true. So I said, instead of getting frustrated and trying to change him or me, we're just accepting that he's where he needs to be and I'm where I need to be. Let's just leave it at that. So we were just starting to realize that we're different people. Yes, we had a love that was magical and wonderful, but it's not there.
And also, with that realization and understanding being spoken between us, it also did allow us to drift a little bit further apart, because we kind of knew that we weren't meant to be together. We both understood that openly together. Not that we wanted each other completely out of each other's lives, but the pull that was bringing us together was also now a little bit better understood.
Mm-hmm.
And the need to be apart was also a little bit better understood. So we were able to put each other into a more distant perspective.
Yes. So then I just wrote that I was recapping, just explaining that I was recapping from when Rob and Tammy visited. I said, she could feel the love between Rob and I. He was standing behind me when I was looking out his window, and Tanya said she could sense that he and I could have that kind of love that does not yet exist on Earth. Wow, like profound that she felt that, because again, that's what we're as twin flames here to do, right? We're here to bring this intense love that isn't part of normal Earth's way of being, to help raise the vibration of Earth and help with ascension. So amazing that, sure, her soul self would have known that, but that her human self could articulate that. I loved how she wrote that, or how she put that. I wrote it. I said she also picked up on Rob's fear of this entire lifetime, therefore needing to be so in control and obsessive. I agree. For the first days of meeting him, I sensed his fear, especially around spirituality. He fears what he came to do. Now, why I shared that is because many years later, just a couple of years ago actually, I was working with a lady that did Reiki with me, and we discovered that Rob and I had a past life in Egypt many, many years ago. And we were very, very chastised. I can't remember the whole reason we weren't allowed to be together. But he was put in jail for it. So, of course, you know, again, as twin flames, we have previous memories maybe from previous lifetimes that are being triggered by us being together now. So, you know, there's so many reasons why your twin might be pulling away. Confusion, fear from the intimacy, fear from past life repercussions. There's so many things. So I just wanted to add that in there for that, you know, that explanation of who knows, you know. So it was understanding Rob's place where he was at. He was probably very fearful from our next, or from our previous life.
Not understanding that there was one.
No, exactly. At that point we weren't understanding it. But the soul remembers. So I said, I still see Robert being the one long term. But it's not over between him and I. That I know. We're just going our separate paths for a while. I feel better knowing he is connected with Tanya. Just reassures me that he's not leaving my life, just drifting a bit for now. So it's interesting that, again, back then, still felt that there was something between us that would be long term. I didn't understand the whole twin flame thing, didn't know any of that, but I still knew.
I didn't share the same feelings that Angie did at that point. The further we drifted apart, the more I thought that that's where we needed to be. Again, not without being completely apart, but I didn't have any thoughts of getting back together again. I was significantly beyond that, I thought.
Yeah. It's true. So this is now February 4th of 1998, and I was saying that Rob had called and Sonia answered, and they were chatting for a while, and then him and I talked. So I said, wow, he and I had a great talk. One of our conversations with no barriers kind of talks. We talked about the fact that it's been over a month since we've seen each other. So, hey, we've progressed. It used to be every 2 weeks.
Whole month.
I told him I miss him, and that led to our talk of him pulling away from me.
Okay, hang on. It seems to me that I take a lot of heat for always not being able to break away from you. But you're the one saying that you miss me, and I'm supposed to ignore that comment?
You're the one that kept phoning me. I was just saying I missed you.
How'd you know I wasn't phoning Sonia?
You wouldn't have talked to me if you were just phoning for her.
Did she just give the phone over? We don't quite remember all this. Or at least I don't. But I'm still going to be guilty a lot of the time, but I had help. Come on now.
You knew you missed me. Okay, never mind.
I'm still enjoying this thought that it had been a whole month.
It was a month. It was progress for us. Very much progress. Okay, so I said, I told him I miss him. Yes, I did miss you. I'm sorry. And that led to our talk of him pulling away from me. He's been really distancing himself from me to protect himself. Which I understand, but I told him I've stopped leaving messages because I feel vulnerable and needy. Plus, I feel abandoned and angry. So I have and I wrote,
bleep,
you, attitude.
Gee.
Nice catch. You bleeped. Not sure why, but I was being very open and honest with him. No barriers for me. I said what I felt, good and bad. So we talked very deeply about our relationship, his sadness that he has to put up walls to protect himself from his feelings of love and sadness for me. So you were aware that you were putting up barriers because you still love me, but didn't know what to do with it all.
Yeah, slap a barrier around it. Got to do something. Got to move on. Well, or try to.
Try to, yeah. And my feelings that we are not through, that I still see us with a future. We talked of our past, the magic, the energy, and the profound love. I explained it was not him I pulled away from so many times. It was the intensity. Now, this is very important. For those of you that are the chaser and that are frustrated with the runner and going, why do they run? This is my explanation that I was sharing with Rob about why I ran when we were going through our runner-chaser stuff. So this might be of help. So I said I'd never felt something so strong, so powerful, so intense. A lot happened in such a short period of time for us. We knew each other a month, and already we were talking marriage and calling each other husband and wife. I was meeting his parents and staying over the night. Very intense. I'd never before experienced such intensity and such feelings. I got scared a lot, therefore pulled away. That much intimacy was just too much, too soon for me back then. I felt too vulnerable, therefore had to pull away. That's why one day I would be all lovey and the next day I'd be distant. Remember those days? They were rough.
Push, pull, push, pull.
Yeah. So if you're experiencing that, if you've got your twin bringing you close and then pushing away again, that's part of what it can often be, is that fear, this connection is something that's so different from anything we've ever experienced as people, that it's intense and freaky to not know what to do with it. You got all these feelings that you can't manage. So it's not that easy, especially if you have issues with vulnerability and intimacy like I did. So I said we covered a lot tonight and got some stuff cleared up. It felt good to connect and have barriers down. We talked of our love and that we still feel, and of snuggling for a night once Rob is done pulling away for a bit. Yippee, to snuggle again. So Rob hasn't left, just needs distance. When hanging up, I said to Rob, I need to say this. I love you. He responded with, and I love you back. Nice. Aww. So we were still telling each other we loved each other.
Still true.
Yeah.
It's still true then.
So still very much love Rob and see a future. Turn and flip and turn. Oh God, some of these notes that I have are like, what?
Flip.
Turn and flip and turn. Did I do that right?
I think you flipped.
I flipped and then I turned.
Yeah.
See,
Go back there.
I knew it.
Go back there.
At some point. Okay. Turn.
Turn.
Flip. And then turn.
Flip.
That was a bad instruction on my part.
Oh, you just did flip, turn, flip instead of turn, flip, turn.
Thank God this is the only kind of this journal that I have, because it's hard to keep track of. Ugh.
This has been fun to watch.
Yeah, reading my notes, going, what am I supposed to do? Okay, so I said, I still see Rob as the one, but I want to date and have fun before settling down into seriousness. Rob's and my path aren't ready to come back together anyway.
No.
No, they weren't at that point.
And I wasn't thinking that either.
No, you weren't. And
No,
a long time later, I gave it all up completely too. We both thought at one point it was done.
It's okay to still have hope.
Yes. All right, are we ready? February 11th, 1999 in my journal now. And I said, well, I'm on my way home after a night with Rob.
Okay.
Here we are again. I feel like he usually does after a night together. Sad. There's still so much there between us, yet we are so far apart and distant from each other emotionally. I hate it, but that's simply the way it is. We're both still needing to protect ourselves after all we've been through together. It's just sad, though. I feel sad now after seeing him. I went to his place at 10:15. He had badminton. And of course, barriers were up for both of us. There, I did it right this time. I do miss the connection and intimacy we used to share. We only have fragments of that connection now. Like our phone conversation a week ago. It was very intense and intimate. I hate how Rob pulls away like I used to.
You do what you got to do.
Well, you know. It's the same feeling that it has been from the beginning of Rob and I. Something feels like it's missing. What? Why does it confuse me? I just feel like something big is missing, something crucial. Is it still the same as before? God, spiritual connection, soul bond? I don't know, but it drives me nuts every time I see him. I feel like we're walking on two different paths. Even though I've come back to the real world and am not so hooked on spirituality, I feel distant from Rob. It's the few times we have really connected that keep me going back and trying to find it and hold it. So this is interesting. A couple comments about that. The whole point of when twin flames first come together, it's like that carrot is dangling there. You have the magical connection. So the universe is like, okay, this is what you're working towards. Keep remembering that. And hey, even though you try to forget it, you can't because the soul keeps pulling you back. But that's what I was describing, is that I was so yearning for that connection that we had when we first met. The talking on the phone, the 17 hours in the mountains together, the 90 hours of talking with 8 hours of sleep, all that magic. I'm like, where is that? But it wasn't there anymore because, again, we were like, he's here, I'm here, we have to come here.
And also, I wasn't trying to nurture those feelings, those thoughts.
You weren't. I was just searching, yearning for them still.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what the whole point is of learning in this is that missing piece that you keep searching for, that you're yearning for, it's inside you. It's not in them. In us. So once we get to that point of separation with the twin, that's where our job comes in to do our own work, to find the connection within ourselves, because we can't have union with somebody else if we don't have union with ourselves. I was feeling empty and not connected because I was searching outside of myself for it. I was searching for it even in God. Well, God can't give me that because God is within me. God is within us. So again, every time we're searching outside of ourselves, we're going to come up empty and disconnected. That's the whole lesson, is go within. I'm sorry to sound like a harp, but I was even told it by God and the angels constantly too. Go within. That is where the answers are. That is where the connection is.
And even with Angie doing her own searching, then I was doing my own. I was still on my own path. I was quite happy with where I was. From a spiritual point of view, it was from season to season, it would still grow. And especially this year, that 1999 year was a big year for me because something new came into my realm of searching. But it was a few months in the future and we're not there yet. So that's just a teaser for next time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, so we're done with this story, but I did want to just add from our last video, we had said that there was a reason for me to be at 7-Eleven. We haven't addressed that, so I just want to address that really quickly. There was actually two, there was, I'm sure, many reasons, but two big ones that I have become aware of. One is breaking more templates, which we'll talk about next time. And another one was meeting another person that I ended up not only dating, but marrying. So our next video will be all about soulmates and karmic partners and the roles they have played in our lives and in our connection with each other.
Yes, we've got to break away from talking about us because at this point there was very little of us left.
Yep.
This is about the time that I started to grow and learn almost completely without Angie. I was starting to learn other things that would allow us to come back together years later. But again, that's for next video.
Yes.
And a little bit of the one after too.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're going to leave it at that for now. We're almost an hour, which we didn't think we'd last this long or be this long, but I'm sorry.
I've stopped apologizing.
Good for you.
Okay.
All right, so we love you guys. Remember, as always, to connect with your twin, go within. And we will be back in another week to do a video instead of a couple weeks this time. Yay!
Yes, we're back home.
Yes. Bye for now.
Bye.